What's going on, guys? Gomes here back again on another MLB The Show 19 Diamond Dynasty video. We are, of course, going to be talking about a brand new Sony partner moment set that we are going to be receiving very soon. If you guys go ahead and take a look at the schedule on 6/19, which is on Wednesday, Mills is going to be revealing his Sony partner moments. That will be at 4 p.m. Pacific time or 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Mills. I will leave the link to that down below in the description. Would love if you guys could go ahead and check that out when he is live on Wednesday, and also drop him a follow. But of course, what we are going to be talking about, as we have talked about the previous two times with Shelfie's moments as well as Spore's moments, is what card that we think that we are going to be receiving. Of course, Spore kind of pulled a sneaky on us, I'm not going to lie. He had us in the first half, but with Clutch, his favorite team, the Mariners, we got Griffey. Shelfie, favorite team, Phillies, we got a Cliff Lee. Although Spore's favorite team was the Tigers, we got a Nick Senzel. He did say that Nick Senzel, I'm pretty sure that this is in quote, he was too lit for him not to pick. So it sounds like they do have a little bit of a selection that they can choose from, but I would imagine that from here on out, we probably are going to be receiving cards of that favorite, of the Sony partner moments favorite team. Of course, Mills is a Baltimore Orioles fan. Of course, there could be a sneaky pull on us once again. Future stars possible that I can think of right now. Alex Vertigo is possible, as well as Pete Alonso. So maybe we'll have to wait and see. But of course, Mills is an Orioles fan, so we're going to go strictly from there and look at what cards that we can be receiving. I have two pools of selections. One that of cards that we do know that the SDS does have rights to, and then some cards that, you know, maybe would be a little bit of a pipe dream, something that I would like to see. But without further ado, let's hop right into it. Of course, the first thing that I do want to say, remember for these moment challenges for the Sony partner moments, they are pretty simple, but you still get a pretty good reward. We've gotten 90 overalls the past two times and 88 the first. I don't know if they plan on doing this exponentially, where, you know, as time goes on, we still get like higher overall diamond rewards. That would make sense to me, but at the same point, I don't really know, because it wouldn't be fair for like Clutch to get an 88 at the start, and then let's say just by the end, Fuzzy's the last one, we get like a 95 overall card. At least in my opinion, that wouldn't make sense, but maybe that is what's going to happen. So with all that being said, I'm going to have all of these cards try to be around like a 90, 91 overall that we could realistically see. So for the Baltimore Orioles, the first one that I was thinking about is a Diamond Jim Palmer. I don't know if there is a Jim Palmer card yet in this game, at least not for the Baltimore Orioles. Of course, we have gotten diamond cards of him in the past. I remember back in MLB The Show 16, we had a Diamond Legend card of him, and I think this would be a pretty nice one that they could add. We have had Cliff Lee, so we have had one starting pitcher out of the three, but I always personally think it is nice to give out starting pitchers in these moment challenges, just because, you know, personally, I'm not one of those guys that likes to spend so much on starters, even though I know it's important and I know it probably helped me, but I always like when they do release starters within these free moment challenges. The next one, which I kind of hope it is, I think realistically we could get like a 91 overall signature series Chris Davis, something like that. Of course, you guys know recently we just did receive two brand new signatures that are not the highest in overall. Aubrey Huff is one of them. He is just a 91. So signatures can be quite low in overall. We've had a 92 Adam Dunn, and basically signature series is just another way, kind of like an insert in regular baseball cards, that they can make this card look special, and it signifies that it's going to be the best card of them that we are going to receive. So this is the best Aubrey Huff. So I think we probably could see like a signature Chris Davis. I think it would be really cool to see. Of course, you know, there's, you know, Chris Davis now is, you know, all the way down here is a 63, but at one point he was absolutely bopping for the Orioles. I think that could be a cool card to see. First baseman we have not seen out of the Sony partner moments yet. A lot of power, and he'll be a very cool card, a very nice addition to our collection. Another guy is Nick Markakis. I don't think we have gotten his Orioles flashback yet this year, and he's another guy who I think possibly could have a signature series card. Once again, it wouldn't be like an insane signature overall card, but it would still be pretty nice nonetheless. Of course, Nick Markakis is still having a pretty good season the last 2 years for the Atlanta Braves. He was an all-star last year. He keeps on hitting. Draft Nick Mark always says in his videos on the road to 3,000 hits. Realistically, Nick Markakis could end up in the 3,000 hit club. He's always hit, got a lot of, always landed on base within his career. And he would be a guy who I would assume would have really good contact, really good vision. Probably only about 60-some power, but decent defense as well. At least like 75 in my opinion, and like maybe 55, 60 speed. I could see that being like a 91 signature card as well. Nick Markakis would be another great player that I would love to see in there. Although we do see a lot of outfielders, I still think that would be nice to see. Of course, Nick Markakis, one of the more recognizable Orioles, at least in my opinion, that they have rights to. Manny Machado is another guy. I don't remember what overall his card was last year. I don't know if he got Orioles flashback. I know back in 17 he got an all-star version, or I think in 16 too he did, but that was like a 96 to 97. Of course, once they introduced the 125 attribute cap, it did get a little bit different. So I could definitely see like a 90-91 overall Manny Machado, especially considering his overall did just drop on his live series. So I could see them giving us a nice 90 to 91. I don't think it would be a signature just because Manny Machado hasn't played as long as like Chris Davis or Nick Markakis. And what I like to think with signature cards of live series players, guys that have already passed their prime. Manny Machado, while he is struggling this year, he's by no means like past his prime. He's only 26 years old. Still got plenty of career left in him. So I think Machado would be a great guy. We don't have a lot of good third basemen in the game, or at least that I know Nick Senzel was the last Sony partner moment, but third base is a pretty thin position, at least for some people. I would be in the mood for a nice Machado. That would definitely be my starting third baseman for the time being. And our last one that I do want to talk about of guys that we know they have rights to, or at least I think so. This is Jim Johnson. I'm not too sure. I think he might be with the Atlanta Braves right now. I'm not exactly sure about that. Don't quote me. But I know Jim Johnson did get a card. It was like a 90 overall back in 16. They would have to boost it a little bit, but Jim Johnson was always a pretty solid reliever and closer for the Baltimore Orioles. I'm not too sure if he's in here or not. You guys can let me know down below in the comment section whether or not Jim Johnson's still in the game. That one I'm not entirely sure on, but it's another guy that I think is a possibility. Moving on to more of the pipe dream cards that are not, or at least that we do not know that they have the rights to. We could always be surprised. You know, Cliff Lee, I guess Cliff Lee had an 85 earlier in the year, so we didn't necessarily know about that right away. But Melvin Mora is the first one that I want to talk about. Of course, Melvin Mora, he was the third baseman for the Orioles for kind of the mid-2000s. He made 2 All-Star teams, I believe. One time he led the American League in on-base percentage. I think that could be a cool guy that we could add another third baseman. Like I said, that's a position I would personally like to see them add a little bit more depth into, so Melvin Mora would be nice. Boog Powell is another name. I'm not too sure too much about Boog Powell. I know he was like back in the 60s, back quite some time ago. This is more of, you know, just throwing out a guess right there for an Orioles legend that we could see. But of course, he was a hitter. I think the Orioles were pretty good around that time. I think I read an article they were like in the World Series. I'm not exactly sure, but he could be a nice hitter that we could see. Mike Mussina, of course. These guys I'm much more familiar with because this is more in my time era. Mike Mussina recently did get inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, which might make you believe that Estes could have had some contact with him. That would be a great legend that we could see. I am pretty sure he did enter the Hall of Fame as a Baltimore Oriole. Another really nice starting pitcher that we could see for free within the Sony partner moments. Miguel Tejada, this one, a little bit interesting because of course he was involved in steroids and involved in the steroid scandal, and at least in my opinion it seems like they're really not too adamant of getting rights to guys that were involved in steroids or involved with that. I know you guys can probably think of some exceptions, or this guy, there was a rumor, this guy, there's an article, or whatever, so on and so forth. But Miguel Tejada, I remember he was the MVP back in the day, around that mid-2000s time. Another third baseman, played for the A's as well. He would be a really nice player to see. A lot of third basemen, you guys probably get the trend right here. And then finally, Brian Roberts is another one. I remember Brian Roberts a lot because back when I was playing, like, first starting MLB The Show, that was like 2008, 2009. He was with the Baltimore Orioles, and I would always have a season with the Rays. Of course, it's my favorite team, and he would always kill me. Brian Roberts, of course, the second baseman. Pretty good speed, good contact, not too much power on him, but he would be another nice card. Second base is usually a thinner position for most people. I obviously have my creative player there, so I would more so prefer third. I'm still looking for a third baseman. Cal's probably going to be my shortstop. For obvious reasons, I did not mention Cal Ripken Jr. on this because he has a 99 signature and he is an 87. I don't see them giving us a fringe 90 overall card of him. That just wouldn't make too much sense. Eddie Murray already has a 94. I don't think they would just make a lower overall of him. If they do, they'll probably have it for the Dodgers or a different team. And then other guys, Matt Wieters would be a perfect one for this kind of overall. I guess I didn't realize Nick Markakis does have an 83, but in my opinion, he's worthy of a better card than an 83. So I still think that is a possibility. Then Adam Jones. This probably would have been my guess if he didn't have a signature, because I never would have guessed they would have given him a 96 overall card, but they did. Neither here or there whether he deserved it, but Adam Jones, of course. The Orioles have had a lot of pretty good flashbacks, you know, 3 signatures already, and Eddie Murray. They've definitely had some good beneficial luck. A lot of good players so far this year added into Diamond Dynasty. But of course, that is my predictions for Mills Sony Partner Moments. He is going to be announcing these on Wednesday, and they will be releasing on Friday with the other content update, new tops, now moments, new headliners, and so on and so forth. Let me know down below in the comment section what Orioles players you guys would like to see, or if there's any possible future stars cards that you think we could see there in place as well. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like down below. Hope you guys are great today. And there you guys, Mizzoudi.
Love is love, and hate is hate. To die's an awesome adventure, and I can hardly wait. Earth is a prison, I need a great escape. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone. You know I'm in my zone. I took a bite of the glory.